Was waterboarding one of...
Yeah, that's what I'm answering because I know where you're headed. As I indicated, the chairman at the beginning of this thing, I'm not in a position to talk about particular techniques, whether they are or aren't used or could or couldn't be used, or their legal status. And the reasons I would give for that, if you look at, I think it's Exhibit 9, the President's speech of September 6, 2006, explains why he doesn't talk about what particular techniques.
Oh, I can understand why he doesn't talk about it.
But you've got to communicate with Al-Qaeda. If you do, I can't talk to you. Al-Qaeda may watch C-SPAN.
Right. Well, I'm sure they are watching, and I'm glad they finally have a chance to see you, Mr. Addington.
Yeah, I'm sure you're pleased.
Given your penchant for being unobtrusive.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Addington, what branch are we in?
Sir, perhaps the best that can be said is that the Vice President belongs neither to the executive nor to the legislative branch, but is attached by the Constitution to the latter. Close quote. That's from two legal opinions issued by the Office of Legal Counsel of the Department of Justice, dated March 9th, 1961, and April, I believe it's 18th, 1961, by, I believe, Mr. Katzenbach, if I remember.
So he's a member of the legislative branch?
To Vice President Johnson, and I offer those as Exhibits 13 and 14.
Mr. Addington, is he a member, then, you're saying, of the legislative?
Without objection, they'll be entered into the record.
So he's a member of the legislative branch?
No, I said attached by the Constitution to the latter. He is not a member of the legislative branch because the Constitution says that the Congress consists of a Senate and a House of Representatives. The Constitution further says that the Senate consists of senators and the House of Representatives consists of representatives. And he is neither a senator nor a
But he's attached to the legislative branch?
That's the quote I read you.
So he's kind of a barnacle.
You know, he is attached, the word was attached by the Constitution to the latter. I don't consider the Constitution a barnacle, Mr. Cohen.
No, the Vice President, since he's really not fishing or fowl, he just attached to something.
It's not, it's not exclusive in the Constitution to have that situation.
Now, let me turn to Attorney Addington about the ABC News reported that there was a so-called principals meeting in which Vice President Cheney sat around with other cabinet-level officials to approve specific interrogation techniques. True?
I don't know of any such meeting, Mr. Chairman. It doesn't mean one did or didn't occur. I certainly wasn't at one.
None.
I was not at a meeting.
Okay.
The description you've given.
Right. Do you feel that the unitary theory of the executive allows the president to do things over and above the stated law of the land?
The Constitution binds all of us, Congressman, the President, all of you as members of Congress, all of the federal judges. We all take an oath to support and defend it. I frankly don't know what you mean by unitary theory of government. I don't have...
Have you ever heard of that theory before?
I have. I've seen it in the newspapers all the time.
Do you support it?
I don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is?
And it's always described as something Addington's the great, advocator of. Now, let me tell you where I've used the word unitary. In quoting OLC opinions, in drafting signing statements. And you will find OLC opinions that refer to the unitary executive branch. And by that, they simply mean...
I don't need you to interpret to me what other people have used.
No.
You're telling
I'm answering
me...
your question.
You're telling me you don't know what the unitary theory means.
I don't know what you mean by it, no, Mr.
You don't know what I mean by it.
Anyone else?
Do you know what you mean by it?
I know exactly what I mean by it. And
well, what do you mean?
Sentences. Tell
me.
The use of the word unitary by me has been in the context of unitary executive branch. And all that refers to is, I think it's the first sentence of Article 2 of the Constitution, which says all of the executive power is vested in a President of the United States. One President, all of the executive power, not some of it, not part of it, not the parts Congress doesn't want to exercise itself. That's all it refers to.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
And until the Eisenhower administration, when Dick Nixon was vice presidents weren't even very closely associated with the executive branch at all. Harry Truman, for example, in the months after he was sworn in as vice president until he took over when Roosevelt died in the spring of 1945, only met with President Roosevelt on about 2 occasions. He didn't have an office downtown in the executive branch. His office was up off the Senate, where I still have a ceremonial office as well, too. So it's really been a function just of the last 50 years or so that the vice president's become an important part of the administration of the executive branch. And, of course, this is where most of the work gets done.